Good morning and welcome to Precision Talk. I'm Marketing Manager Frank Olmsted with HTS Ag, and joining us today, Adam Gittens, President of HTS Ag. How are we doing?
Good. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning. What's going on?
I got a little bit of soybeans planted this week. It was a lot of fun.
Controlled spill, they call that, right?
Some people define it that way. We did a little better than a controlled spill with my planter, though.
All right, let's talk about it.
Yeah. So of course I'm running SureForce and SureSpeed both on my planter, and I was planting soybeans around 8 miles an hour, 6 to 8 miles an hour. Have ran upwards of 11 plus with that planter, but comfortably, depending on conditions, 8 felt real good. It was smooth enough to ride. And at 8 miles per hour, we were able to singulate soybeans at over 99%. And I even saw, a lot of 99.3, 99.4, really, really great singulation on soybeans, which is interesting because a lot of people don't pay attention to singulation on soybeans. As we've talked about before, I've been for several years pushing soybean populations lower. And I think the reason I'm having success with that is because I am able to place those soybeans perfectly or near perfectly. Most planters, when we really dive into them that aren't a SureSpeed planter, we're seeing singulation on a lot of planters, like brush meters, 80%. So it is a controlled spill at that point.
Guys, were they kind of happy with 80% singulation, or was that just what we got? You were happy with what you got?
Yeah, I think that's all the more we knew. We never really paid attention to what that number was. I don't think we ever understood that singulation on soybeans was even important. And the data that we've done in some side-by-side trials, singulation on soybeans is not important if you're planting 140 or 150,000 seeds per acre, because you have so many of them, it doesn't matter how they're spaced. It became a much, much bigger deal when we started dropping populations lower. And, I'm planting soybeans at 100,000, 80,000. I've even pushed down to 60,000 and had really good success. My failure happened at 40,000 seeds per acre. The weeds got a little crazy.
Yeah, you're not giving them much cover.
No, at 40,000 seeds per acre on 15-inch rows, I've got those seeds spaced to the equivalent of a 20,000 seed per acre population cornfield.
Okay.
Which is really low population for anything. And that lets a lot of light infiltration. We don't get a lot of canopy. We're not able to suppress the weeds. And that became a bit of an issue at 40,000. At 60,000, when we did that in a replicated strip trial, that won the plot.
Absolutely. But at 40,000, the input savings had to be...
At 40,000, the yield was still there, but driving by the field and having to look at the weeds all year, it wasn't worth it. It was not worth it.
And we do have a video of that seed population trial for soybeans on our YouTube page, so you can go check that out, youtube.com/or@HTSAg. So
right. Yeah, I think it's so important that we are paying better attention. The inputs are not getting cheaper. We've got to do a better job of placing the inputs accurately. We've got to do a better job of making every dollar stretch as far as it can. And this is one way that I think we can do that. We can really understand what's happening with the soybeans and with the planter as we go across the field. I say it time and time again, we get one chance to plant that crop. We've got to do the best job that we can.
Absolutely. And with SureSpeed from Ag Leader, you know that you can run fast, you can get that singulation that's so important, but you also have SureForce.
Yeah, so SureForce is accurately placing the depth at all times, no matter what the soil conditions are. If I get into a hard soil or some compaction, we're pushing down a little harder, we're still maintaining depth. If we get into a really light, fluffy soil, we actually can lift up on those row units and take some of the weight off of the row units so we don't end up with sidewall compaction or any of those other yield-robbing mistakes that happen in the field.
So, and then Adam, as you mentioned, you were planting this week, so that means a lot of guys are already in the heat of battle. Maybe they're even wrapping up. So getting a SureForce system or SureSpeed system this time of year doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we can get it. I don't think anyone wants to park for the amount of time it's going to take for us to put it on. And, every second counts. But as you're out in the planter this year, be paying attention to how good of a job that planter's doing. And if you need to do a better job, the best time to make those improvements is before you put that planter away for the year. That way next year when you get it out, it's ready to go to the field. Absolutely.
So anything else you wanted to add this morning about planting or Ag Leader?
Well, I'll just quickly plug with the putting that system in now, instead of waiting. We've got 1.99 financing available for 3 years. So we can not only spread the cost out, but we can keep the cost very low to be able to do that now and get the benefit later and not have a huge expense in this year.
Absolutely. So go check your crop stand, go dig up some seeds, see how things are looking, and then give us a call. We can absolutely help you out, especially with that 199 financing. And again, now would be the time to put that on, because wait for harvest. You're going to be busy doing harvest things. You're going to be busy with field dressing in the fall. So getting it done now really gets that off your plate for next planting season. So if you have any questions, give us a call at 712-744-4468. Find us on the web at htsag.com, or follow us on Facebook, X, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram at HDS Ag. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you. See ya.